What's up, YouTube heroes? My name is Kitty Poo. Today we're playing Swordmaster VR in my garage. This is garage scale virtual reality. Let's go check it out.
My playspace is now 18 by 18 feet with the lighthouse base stations 24 feet from each other in two opposite corners. Thank goodness they don't have to be plugged into my PC. I do have to run a long sync cord between the two because I have a lower beam in the middle of my garage. The makers of the original Vive headset recommended a maximum distance of 16 feet 4 inches between the base stations, which would give you a play space of 11.5 by 11.5 feet. HTC is now saying the original Vive has a maximum play space of 15 by 15 feet. This would put the base stations 21 feet 2 inches away from each other. I have tried my base stations at 14 feet and 18 feet apart and have decided to go back to having them 24 feet apart because the extra play space is worth a few more tracking hiccups to me. The problems with my 18 by 18 space are sometimes the controllers drift away in the game, or they may not line up exactly with where I'm holding them, or they may jitter in the game. The tracking issues seem to happen in the middle of the garage, but more often in the corners of the garage that don't have lighthouses. I've noticed the controllers also tend to track better when I'm moving them as opposed to when I'm holding them really still. Another issue I have is when I first start up VR, the virtual floor is at an incorrect height about 50% of the time. Luckily I can fix this in about 5 or 10 seconds using the advanced VR settings plugin while I'm still inside VR. The advanced VR settings plugin is a godsend. If you don't have it, go get it. I don't know why these settings aren't already in Steam VR, but they're not. And my favorite setting is turning on my chaperone all the time. In every game, I can always see my walls so I don't run into anything. It's the best. I also need to check my chaperone bounds when I first start VR, as they seem to be off a foot or so about 20% of the time. If the chaperone is incorrect, I can normally fix it by restarting VR with the headset on. The only available wireless solution for the HTC Vive as of May 9th, 2018 is the TPCAST. I have been using it for about 4 months now. The negative aspects of the TPCAST are as follows. Sometimes the picture is not as clear and looks compressed. The TPCAST can only send 1920 by 1080, but the Vive's resolution is 2160 by 1200. It would appear the TPCAST removes the outer lines from your picture, which causes the outer pixels on the screen to just show green. I was using an old slim 6mm VR cover face foam insert for a wider field of view inside my headset, and I could kind of see green lines on the sides of my screen if the headset was tight. That VR cover was getting a little worn out, so I put a new 6mm VR cover on, and I don't notice green lines anymore. I also play with the lenses adjusted as close to my head as possible to get the widest field of view possible. I had to purchase a third-party software called OpenTPCAST for $25 in order to get the microphone working. The official TPCAST software is the same as it was 4 months ago on their website, but according to them, they are still trying to release an updated version with microphone support. The most annoying thing about the TPCAST is that maybe 5% of the time when I start up VR, the screen is black. And to fix this, the OpenTPCAST website recommends I reboot my computer and power cycle all devices, including the TPCAST power box, HDMI transmitter, router, and HTC Vive breakout box. I'm still not sure which of these steps gets it working again. The TPCAST HDMI transmitter that you install up in the high corner does make a high-pitched whine noise when the headset is on, but you don't notice it when you're in a game. Another negative is that you have to plug in the battery every time you want to use it and put the battery in your pocket or put it in the holster that they provide. I would recommend putting it in the holster or pockets with buttons or zippers, as this heavy battery has fallen out of my loose pockets a couple times while squatting in a game. Also, having the battery on my waist has caused me to pull the headset off of a bench a couple of times. I took the headset off, sat it on the bench, and was messing with something, planning to go right back into VR, and then accidentally moved too far away, pulling the headset off of the bench onto the floor. Ah! Luckily it was okay. Few scratches. So you should take the battery off of your hip every time you take off the headset, or at least put the headset on the ground, because the cord is just long enough, I think, for most people to reach the floor. Of course, the floor can give it little scratches too. The 6-inch HDMI cord on the headset that came with the TPCAST stopped working after a month. TPCAST wanted me to send back everything, but I bought a similar HDMI cable off eBay instead. I pretty much never lose video signal, which is awesome. So, although the battery is rather big and a bit warm, it's still way better than tripping over a short cord. The battery gives me about 3.5 hours of playtime, but I would like a smaller battery with less playtime. I don't feel the legs of the TPCAST head module on the top of my head because they fit in between the straps of the deluxe audio strap pretty nice. $300 for the TPCAST is definitely expensive, but it's worth it for me. I might upgrade to the Vive Pro when the wireless solution is released for it, but I'm also keeping an eye out for the Pimax 8K headset, which is planning to have wireless someday as well. The question is, would I give up wireless to have that 200-degree horizontal field of view of the Pimax 8K? I don't know, I would have to try it. Pimax does have the longest cord, but when I use my wired Vive in the garage, I can hear the cord dragging on the floor so clearly in my headphones. It's almost amplified and really immersion breaking. So I just have my TPCAST software running all the time because it doesn't take very many computer resources. And then all I have to do to start VR is plug the battery into the headset, and then I can start games from inside of the headset without ever having to touch my keyboard, mouse, or look at my monitor.
Whew! Yeah, be careful I don't sweat too much and wreck my Vive. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.